Okay, so there's been a first look at the new Joker in Zack Snyder's Justice League, played by Jared Leto again.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't he just look a million times better?
Yeah. It's one of those things where, no matter what you think of the movie, and I said this to you when we first talked about it, no matter what you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League, whether you like it when it comes out or not, this is absolutely going to be one of those things where you look at it and just go, why in the heck wasn't he like that in Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
It's going to be so annoying because he looks better. Chances are it couldn't be any worse than what it was in Suicide Squad.
No.
So chances are he's going to be a million times better. So
yeah. It's good as well, it's worth saying, that he looks completely different to all the Jokers that have come before him, which is actually quite impressive when you think about it.
yeah.
There's a lot of sort of
There's been a lot
ways
of
that you could make him look similar, but he looks different to all of them. I think he looks completely unique.
But I think this is one of the things where it does, because I know we've talked about it before about like Zack Snyder making the Justice League very dark.
Yeah.
All the characters are pretty dark. All the characters that don't necessarily need to be dark. This is a character where I think it's going to be off for him to be that dark.
Yeah, it needs to be, doesn't he?
Yeah, you can't be like Suicide Squad should just be the poster for what you should not do with the Joker. He shouldn't just be a gangster. He shouldn't be all like
Hipster.
Yeah, they shouldn't try to appeal to the female audience.
No.
So.
Yeah. The
he
thing.
hasn't got damage across his forehead,
Yeah,
which is the main
that's
thing.
one of the when I first saw this picture, one of the first comments on it was, "But how are we supposed to tell that he's the bad guy if he hasn't got damage written on his forehead?" Yeah. So this is clearly, and it's good that because essentially Zack Snyder's getting a second chance, and it's it's fair and it's kind that you go, okay, let's give Jared Leto another chance, see what he can do. I hope there's no sort of. I mean, we can't see his teeth there, but I hope his teeth aren't ridiculous like they are in.
I don't think they will. It would mix. It looks like they really stripped him. Like in Suicide Squad, he was very like blinged up. He was like the stereotypical gangster. Like when you think of like, yeah, he had like the bling, and his teeth were gold for some reason, and he had the tattoos. And
despite the whole gun thing that he did, and the when he would, and he shot the, and then he lay there in the circle of knives, and he was all that stuff. This is more believable as a psycho killer than that ever was. I never ever found it believable that was the Joker.
I wonder if that must be what they're going. If you look at it, it's like, do you not think it looks like very like old butchery?
Yeah, it looks a little bit like Leatherface. I think it's a Leatherface style.
Yeah, like that is like movies with like old butchers. Like I imagine being like cutting people up and stuff. That's not what the Joker does, but if they're making them dark, why not go the full length?
So this is supposedly the nightmare scene from this film, because apparently the Joker's dead. You know how you see in the trailer? There's the big thing where it's the apocalypse, the Omega logo in the middle of the city,
right?
And you see the trident in the floor and the Justice League symbols like split in half, and there's all that stuff.
Right. Okay.
So apparently this nightmare scene is set before that.
Right.
Something like that. There's supposedly at least one nightmare scene in it.
Which is, obviously it's going to be Batman's.
I'm assuming, it's probably going to be Batman, and I'm assuming that this. If people are saying that this is the nightmare scene, then I'm guessing he's looking back. Because a lot of people say Joker's dead. I'm just not sure how they would arrange the film at that point then.
I don't think he'll be dead. I think chances are he's in Arkham Asylum, or like he's already been caught by Batman, probably is. I don't want. Killing the Joker off when he hasn't even been in a movie. When there hasn't been a standalone Batman movie. I know we've talked about before how Batman, like, if they're going to do a Batman movie with Ben Affleck, the Joker shouldn't just automatically be his bad guy, because he has more bad guys than that, but to kill off Joker without him being in a movie is just daft.
But I also feel like this might be not just Zack Snyder's way, but Universal's way of basically going, here's a teaser of what we could make Jared Leto's Joker like, and then go, okay, so people liked it, so let's now, because there was that drama before where they wanted a Joker film where he wanted a Joker film
Yeah.
And up until like the start of the production of the film Joker, he thought it was going to be him, not Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, and he wasn't very happy that it wasn't him.
And he wasn't very happy that it wasn't him.
I mean, to be fair though, like, I kind of feel bad for the guy because there's only, from what I saw, he did really try. Like, he threw himself in it and he tried to be completely different. And
it is worth saying that Jared Leto is a very good actor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just, I feel like I don't know how much of it to put down to the writing and how much of it I should put down to him.
Yeah.
Because he's only an actor. He can only do so much with a character with what he's given. The lines were still given to him by, they were still given the lines. He was still put in the costumes. Like, there's only going to be so much he could have done with that character.
I think most people agree that the Joker shouldn't have been in that film.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous thing to have him in that film. To be fair, the whole idea of the Suicide Squad that early was far too...
Yeah.
It was too early for a Suicide Squad film.
It was one of those things where you could just tell it was the producers wanting the Joker in. Because having the Joker in a movie, in a DC movie, automatically will get people to watch it. So you could kind of tell that was the reason, so...
A small anecdote, right? It's a small anecdote, and this is going to essentially also serve to throw out to my friends.
Right.
So in 2015, they released the first image of Jared Leto's Joker, right, which was a year before the film came out, and it was this one. Hold on, I'll show you. It was this one, aptly named Ruish. This one. So it was this one, right?
Yes.
So I remember being sat in college, right? Hold on, I'll move the picture. I remember being sat in college, right, and we were all looking at this picture. So there was me, Lewis, Michael, Amanda, Luke, right? Luke and Amanda thought it was good, right? Thought that it was good that he looked like this. Lewis didn't care, because Lewis doesn't care about movies. And Michael was skeptic, because Michael is always skeptic about everything.
Yes.
Skeptical, not skeptic. Skeptical.
I mean, I think everyone collectively was.
Me, on the other hand, this is when I gave up on this film. I knew... Well, sorry, okay, so I didn't want this to be the Joker, straight away. I didn't... Because as soon as we saw this, a theory that we read was that he was a Robin. So I was like,
Fair enough.
They can do that. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Because these stupid tattoos drove me insane.
Because what is it? He's got some kind of tattoo, hasn't he? That's like
this stupid. Where is it? This
J.
J is
because
stupid.
We have to know that it's the Joker, so of course he has to have a J.
And this, I can't get my finger on it, but this ridiculous damaged thing. So doesn't it look actually like that's part of the image? Look, it's arm. It looks like it's his arms. Yeah. Yeah, but Luke and Amanda were convinced that this was going to be good, right? But then the trailer came out, and as it's a story, as I've said a million times, as soon as in the trailer you hear the words, "Let's go save the world," I knew the film was going to be terrible. And that can be me sort of taking the high ground on people, as a certain Jedi once made me. I knew it wasn't going to be very good.
I think the thing is, I think it had a lot of DC fans torn. There were a lot of DC fans that were like, well, it's going to be different, it's going to be something we haven't seen before, it's going to be hard for them to do something like different but still stay true to the comics. So I think for people like you who have like read the comics and like in love with the comics, it's like it was too much. The Joker is such an amazing character anyway, you don't need all of this.
Yeah, the reason people thought it was Robin is because he's got a bullet hole here. It looks like a bullet hole, this little sort of thing here.
Oh yeah. I thought it was a tattoo.
No.
Do you not have it?
No, it's because in the suit in Batman vs Superman that you see on the Robin that's got like the ha all over it. There's a bullet wound there. And everyone was like, oh, so maybe it's a Robin because it looks like it's got a bullet wound there. Obviously that wasn't the case. Quite honestly,
I felt like it would have been interesting.
It would have been better because, and I've said this ever since that film came out, that is not my Joker. Yeah. And again, it's good that we're going back to. I'm not going to say the basics because it's not basic, but even if you just make him a scary serial killer that looks like a clown, you're in the region. I mean, there's a lot more.
Even just having like the makeup on his lips.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't look like the prototypical Joker, but it's enough for us to go, okay, this is the Joker. Yeah. It's different to what we've seen before, which is good, but it's still like you can still tell it's him and he's still recognisable, which is
so there's obviously a lot more to the Joker's character, which is why he's one of the most revered characters there is. And so they don't necessarily have to have everything, and there'll always be those comparisons that people have. People will always say, "Well, he's not Heath Ledger, is he?" That's like, and that's fair enough. So the thing that you should actively do, which is what the film The Joker did, and Suicide Squad, I suppose, tried to do, is make it completely different to Heath Ledger's Joker, because the only reason Heath Ledger's Joker was so brilliant, and people who don't understand this don't understand films, the reason Heath Ledger's Joker was so brilliant is because it matched perfectly to Christian Bale's Batman. So their
dynamic was awesome.
And people might then say, well, why was Joaquin Phoenix's Joker so brilliant? It's like, because that's not him at his most Joker, that's his origin of the Joker.
Yeah.
It's like, when you've got a Joker in his full swing, he needs to mesh perfectly with Batman.
At that point, it was just... It's hard to explain, because in that movie, you felt both bad for him and you kind of hated him all at the same time. To the point where... That's a different kind of emotion, I feel like, that you've ever felt towards the Joker, which was I actually really liked. That whole, like, he's not necessarily a bad guy, but society made him the bad guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting. And that's why I like that Joker. I also feel like do you not feel like he was more like, he resembled more the comics? Not even necessarily just like his attitude, but like the makeup and everything. Like, he didn't have the scars. I felt like it looked more like...
To be honest, things like the makeup isn't all that important to me. I just think that the most important thing to me, is, as I've already said, is that they mesh with Batman, which is why Jack Nicholson, who's also slept on, was a brilliant Joker as well, because his slightly camp but still dark Joker went well with Michael Keaton's Batman, because they worked off each other, and it worked in that sense. I
wonder what Jared Leto's Joker's gonna be like compared to, like, next to Ben Affleck's Batman. Then
I think if they go down the serial killer route, which is what it looks like they're doing, he looks like a serial killer.
Yeah.
If they do that, I think that'll work well with Ben Affleck's Batman, because I think that's
Ben Affleck's Batman's like dark,
what it needs. What it needs to be. Like, the reason Heath Ledger's and Christian Bale's is because there was that much grander scheme. Do you know what I mean? And it was good that Christian Bale was always one step behind that Joker, because there was this grand scheme, despite him saying that he was a dog chasing cars. That grand scheme was something that Christian Bale had to figure out, and then he was obviously a victim of it himself. Whereas Ben Affleck's Batman, because he's so sort of dark, and he's given up on criminals.
I guess you could say that, like, if they go down a serial killer road, it could be like two sides of the coin. If they do the whole, like, he's branding people and he's that Batman, which I guess they probably will, because it would fit well with Zack Snyder's movie. It would make sense. There's the one that's like, he's just a completely insane maniac who's killing people for no reason, and then there's the guy who's branding people in for a reason, but it's still kind of like a bit much.
So with the other thing I wanted to say was, with this one, the reason this picture was taken this way is because they were trying to make him look like this.
Yeah. They're
trying to make him look like this version of the Joker. If you look, they're literally pulling the exact same face, except he's actually got his mouth open. But again, that in itself doesn't... You can't just scrape the comic version of a character and hope that that'll work. The reason that version of the Joker, the one with the ha-ha-ha one, the all-around one, the cartoon one, the reason that was so cool is because that Batman works well with the Batman in the comic to which it's attributed. As is the same with everything, like with almost every movie, whether it's a superhero movie or not. If it's got a protagonist and an antagonist, the antagonist has to be as interesting and as good as the protagonist, or the movie suffers. Especially superheroes, you need to have a good villain.
Yeah.
And I just think if it's just this Joker with long hair and some weird makeup around his mouth, then I'll have lost interest in the film straight away.
Yeah.
I hope that it's not. I hope that this is going to be a much more serious and a much more dark Joker. Because I think Jared Leto deserves it. I think he's a good actor, and he was.
I feel like the Joker. I feel like his Joker in Suicide Squad really like messed up his like acting credibility. A lot of people just like crap on the guy, even like he's a really good actor.
He's an Oscar winner.
So
yeah, that's our thoughts on the new Joker. It's not a trailer reaction, but it's a reaction.
I wonder if it's weird because obviously it's black and white. Like I feel like, do you not feel like it just looks better black and white? I feel like when you take away that and if he has like the green hair and like the red makeup.
I wonder if his hair will be green. His hair might not be green.
Do you think they'll do that?
I don't know.
I mean, it is kind of.
Well, it might be like a sort of greasy green, like Heath Ledger's was, where it's sort of like.
It's not like
dark,
bright green.
yeah, it's like a dark green.
I feel like unless the dream sequence is going to be in black and white, I just feel like that looks so much cooler. I feel like if you add colour, it might take away from it. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It might make it look better. Who knows?
It's definitely. I mean, to be fair to them, it's made me a lot more excited for the Snyder cut, which I never thought I would ever say.
I mean, you were excited for this Snyder cut.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna watch it.
Is.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'll worry. You know,
it's that thing. I hope, as like someone that's just like standing by and watching everyone like on Twitter and like Instagram and stuff, I just hope that this movie, for the sake of everyone, lives up to the hype. Because it'd be so disappointing if everyone's getting so hyped, everyone's talking about it and saying it's gonna be the best thing ever, and it comes out and it's not as good as people think it is. It's gonna be so like devastating.
Yeah. I hope so too. I hope it's not crap. So yeah, that was our reaction to the new Joker.
The first look.
The first look, yeah. I suppose it's not even the new Joker either, just the remodelled Joker.
Revamped.
So let us know down in the comments what you think. What do you think the nightmare sequence is going to be? Do you think this Joker is going to be dead in Justice League? Are you excited? Do you think Jared Leto is going to do a better job than he did in Suicide Squad? Did you like the Joker in the Suicide Squad? If you did, this probably isn't the channel for you, but nevertheless.
No, I mean, why did you like it?
Yeah, let us know why. Let us know your argument.
And be prepared for our arguments about it.
Yeah. Also, like the video, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell to be notified when we upload. We upload every day. Anything else you want to say?
I hope he's not dead. I'd be kind of disappointed if he is dead and we don't get, because isn't Ben Affleck getting like a series or something as the Batman?
Supposedly.
If he is,
I don't know what to make of the thingy these days. I don't know what people are talking about anymore.
Well, either way, I hope he's not dead.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
I need to know.